But I don't want to be arrogant. That's a lot of attributes, right? But really, the average Tawheed classes that I've seen conducted, they don't go this far. They just give you the basics, Allah is the God, and He's the only one to be worshipped, and He has beautiful names and attributes, and that's it. This stuff is really, really important. It's really, really important. Because this will help you, believe it or not, that when you read the Qur'an, things will get much more clear. They'll become more clear. The next branch is that each or in every attribute of Allah can be addressed the three basic questions. Each and every attribute of Allah can be addressed by three basic questions. The first question is, are they real? Are they actual? Or not? Excuse me, and why? And why? Alright? What do I mean by they? Are they actual? Are they real? What do I mean by real? What am I talking about? Are the attributes real? And why? That's the first question. Are the attributes real? Are they actual? And why? That's the first question. In other words, if we're going to be talking to somebody about the attributes of Allah, these are three basic questions that can be addressed. That's what we mean. The second question is Tawheed. You have to go back to your notes now. Is Tawheed permissible? And why? Is Tawheed. We learned this word. T-H-A-Y-E-E-L. Is Tawheed permissible? Meaning the Tawheed of the attribute. Is it permissible? And why? That's the second question. And the third and final question is, Rahim. It's legal. No, well, not Abdul Rahim, Rahim. You call yourself Rahim. Right? Yes.
Yes, I was going to say, but they call themselves Rahim in the Arabic, or even like Ra'uf in the Arabic. When you write it in Arabic, it has the tanween.
Doesn't make any difference.
But in English, you can't.
It doesn't make any difference because it doesn't make any difference. What you're saying, he's saying tanween for those who know. He's saying it's indefinite.
Right.
It's not the Rahim.
Right,
but Allah calls himself Rahim without the definite of Rahim.
He calls himself with
many places in the Quran, Allah says, Inna Allah Ra'ufun Rahim. Indefinite. And in some other places, he says, Al-Ra'uf Al-Rahim. That he's the. He uses the indefinite and he uses the definite. The same thing that you can call yourself. Allah is Rahim. Right? Allah is Ra'uf. Allah is Rafiq. And we know brothers here, right? No preservative, call themselves Rafiq. That's their name. And Allah is Rafiq, the kind. Right? Or something that's kind. You can choose this name, you can choose this name, you can choose this name. You just can't put the definite article in front of it, which is the, and say Al-Rafiq, or Al-Ra'uf, or Al-Rahim. Right? You just can't do that. If you do that, then you have to put Abd in front of it, which is Abdul Rahim, which is the servant of the Rahim, Allah. The servant of Abdul Ra'uf. The servant of Rafiq. Right? So either way you want to take it, you can either take it without the definite article, which means the. Right? All this means the. You know some brothers that call themselves As-Salam. You can't do that. You see? But you can call yourself Salam. There's no problem. But Qudus, you can't do that. Why? Because intrinsically the meaning of Qudus suggests divinity. Rahim doesn't suggest divinity. Because there are many human beings that are merciful. There are many human beings that are kind. There are many human beings who are friendly. But Qudus means divine. No imperfections whatsoever. That is only for Allah. So there's names that we share with Allah. There's attributes that we share with Allah. And then some that we don't, that are only for Allah. And we share with them only in name, not in degree. Because we say, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ, there's nothing equal to him. So though I can be Rahim, Allah calls the Prophet in the Qur'an Ra'uf. He calls him Rahim. He called Luqman in 30-something chapters of the Qur'an. He wasn't even a prophet. He called him Hakim. Luqman al-Hakim, the wise. This is what Allah calls him, right? I mean, you know the story, right? This person from Nubia, from the part of Sudan, got a chapter in the Quran is dedicated to him. He calls him Hakim. Yeah, but see here, it doesn't suggest what it suggests when it means Allah. It means that this person is a very, very wise person. You see? So it's permissible to do that. But there's some names you just cannot call yourself. Even you can't even put Abdul in front of it. Can't even take it that way, because it's exclusively for Allah. Allah has the name Zul Jalali wal Ikram. You won't find Muslims taking it. You don't go to Muslim countries and find Muslims doing this. Only we do this in America. You don't find Muslims calling their children the Abdul Jalali Jalali wal Ikram. You know, Abdul Malik wal Muluk. You don't find people doing it except Muslims in America. I tell you, man.
Is that the same way they call it?
Some B people, huh?
Is that the same way they call it?
No, that's another one. See, this is another one. Excellent example for the system. We can't call ourselves Khaliq, the Creator, because the Creator. This is the intrinsic meaning of Khaliq, Khaliq. Some people spell it with one A. Khaliq, the Creator. It doesn't mean that if you took it with doesn't mean that how you can't. How you gonna call yourself that? You can't. You don't create anything. Creation means that you start with nothing and you make something. We don't create anything. Some of us don't even make anything. Right?
But excuse me, didn't we have a discussion about we create now, Allah creates?
No, we don't create. We procreate. Because the meaning of creation means to take nothing and make something. What we do is we are manufacturing. We're creating in a limited sense. We're using materials that were here before you came out of your mother's womb to make something else. You're changing the form of something that was already here to another form. You're not saying be, and it is. That's creation. Creation signifies or indicates origination. That's what it means. When you create, you're the originator. That's why Allah calls himself Badi'u as-samawati wal ard. The originator of the heavens and earth. He's the only one that can do bid'ah. That's what the word means. That's what it means. The only one that has the right to do bid'ah is Allah. It's to introduce something, to bring something into existence that wasn't there before. That's what it means. You don't have the right to do that. And if you don't, you know I don't. Right? What time is it? 27? Okay. All right. Are these things kind of clear?
Kind of.
Somewhat? For some of us it's not clear? Excuse me, huh? It's fuzzy? It's kind of fuzzy? Okay.
It's D.
It's D? What did you say? I said it was D. I know some masters you can go, you can have some real deep stuff. You went into some deep. This ain't deep. This is real simple. Maybe that's the reason why it seems deep, because that other stuff is so deep. We have to get that stuff out of our brain. This is real simple. Okay, you know something? I think I made a mistake. Let me see. Oh, yes. I made a mistake. See? I'm not confused. I made a mistake. The part that says, from the part that says Allah's names are all perfect and beautiful, that's under principle number 2.
Okay.
Doesn't make a difference to y'all anyway, y'all weren't here, right? Okay. So
that's branch number 1.
Right. Principle number 1 only has sticking to the text. All right. And everything else is principle number 2.
Okay.
Please.
Sticking to the text. That was
Please.
Where's that last one?
That's right. Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
I'm forgiven? That's an answer to Allah. Okay. Third principle. The third principle. Inshallah, after the class, we'll straighten it out, inshallah. The mistakes that I made. I'll clean up for it, inshallah. The third principle. The third principle is what? The third principle is that all of the attributes of Allah, all of the attributes of Allah are sublime, perfect, and let me see, how would I translate this word? And to indicate, difficult word to translate. And they praise Him. All the attributes of Allah are sublime, perfect, and they indicate that He is being praised, and they don't have any deficiencies or deficiencies. They don't have any imperfections or deficiencies. This sounds like one of the other principles, right? No imperfections, no deficiencies. It sounds like the other principle. It sounds like one of the other ones, but it's not, and we'll explain it inshallah. What we mean by this is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for instance, life, knowledge, power, hearing, seeing, wisdom, mercy, transcendency or highness or sublimity, all of these are lofty, sublime attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like He says in the Qur'an, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, and to Allah belongs the loftiest, most perfect, sublime attributes. Okay? Now, the next thing we want to mention, you have to really think about this one. You have to put on your thinking kufis and khimars on now. You're going to get real deep on y'all. You have to really think about this stuff. Okay? That is that there are some names of Allah and or attributes that, and I mentioned this earlier, that when they're talking about Allah, they're all perfect, they all show that He's being praised, they're all sublime. But if you take the same name or the same attribute and connect it to the human being, it's something bad. Simply what we mean is, there are some attributes that we share with Allah and names. If you talk about Allah with that same name or attribute, it's something good. If you talk about the human being, it's something bad. With the exact same name. Anybody give me an example?
Al-Mukhmid.
Al-Mukhmid
is the killer.
Al-Mumid? That may be able to be used. But the only difference is that even the name Al-Mumid, the cause of death, with us, that can also be good. I'm talking about something that is totally, always, exclusively bad. It's a name of, or it's an attribute that Allah has, and it's an attribute that human beings have. But when you're talking about Allah, it's always good. Not only is it good, it's sublime, it's perfect, and it's praise. You're actually praising Allah when you say it. But if you say the same attribute about a human being, it's the opposite. It shows degradation in him. It shows that it's actually an attribute in a human being that is derogatory and degrading. Can anybody give me an example? An attribute that I can have, that you can have, but if you have it, it's a bad thing. When Allah has it, it's a good thing. Can you give me an example? Anybody? Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Destroy? Destroy?
No, Allah doesn't have the name destroyer in that sense. On the attribute. I think the sisters know. Sisters, you know? Nobody know? Okay. One of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is no. That's another subject. One of the attributes of Allah is Al-Kabir. And also Mutakabbir. Mutakabbir. Anyone know what Mutakabbir means? Anybody? Al-Mutakabbir means arrogant. Means arrogant. This is the name of Allah. Al-Mutakabbir. Mutakabbir. Mutakabbir. We say Mutakabbir. But it's pronounced Mutakabbir. Al-Mutakabbir. Right? This is one of the names of Allah. Inside this name, and we mentioned inside all of the names are attributes. The intrinsic, internal attribute inside Mutakabbir is kibr, which means the proud and arrogant. There's an attribute in it which means something that is proud and haughty and arrogant. When you talk about Allah like that, it's sublime, perfect, and you're praising Him. When you talk about Allah being Mutakabbir, it is something that shows how high He is. It is something that shows His perfection, and it's something that praises Him. But something from the creation, the human beings, if you call a human being Mutakabbir, it means he's an arrogant, haughty, I don't know who these things will go to. I'll give you something else. They go to some other community. Watch what I say, inshallah. But you understand what I'm saying? So there's some attributes, there's attributes that we share with Allah, but with His, they're always showing sublimity of Allah. It's always showing perfection in Allah, even if we don't understand it. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, go ahead, because you may forget.
So you said we can't equate that with the definition of arrogance and how haughty that we know of. We can't equate that.
Yeah, but the difference is that Allah says in chapter 42, verse 11, "Laysa kamithlihi shay' wa huwa as-sami'ul basir." There's nothing like Him. So His arrogance is a praiseworthy thing because He's the only one that has the right to be arrogant. Allah is the only one that has the right to be, of course we don't say stick out the chest, so Allah didn't say it at the chest. But proverbially speaking, the only one that has the right to boast is the one who started this whole thing. Allah. No human being has the right to be arrogant. No. How can you? Who has the right to be haughty? Well, Allah can take your life, we can't even give the time period it takes Allah to take your life. And take everything from you that you own. At a blinking, quicker than a blinking of an eye. How can you? No human being. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, he related from Allah in a hadith Qudsi. In the fourth hadith Qudsi, you can find this hadith. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Pride is my robe, and greatness is my robe, and pride is my cloak. And whoever tries to compete with me in these two things, I'll cast him into the hellfire." Okay? I'll cast him into the hellfire. Well, this is an attribute of Allah that you are not supposed to take. Because when you take it, it shows something bad. But when we talk about Allah with it shows something sublime, perfect, and you're praising Him. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Sleep nor slumber overtakes him not. Right? And then, these two negative things Allah is negating of himself, that he doesn't sleep, nor, not only does he not sleep, he doesn't have fatigue. That's why Allah always, subhanAllah, he's infinitely wise, because he could have just said he doesn't sleep. Because like the 5%ers, they say, yeah, man, I'm not sleeping, man, I'm going to get some rest. Right? That's, you know what they can say, right? I'm going to get rest. I don't sleep, I go to rest. But God don't sleep. I'm just going to get some rest. Right. You're going to get some rest. Yeah, but Allah says in the Qur'an, لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Slumber, fatigue, the prelude to sleep doesn't even overtake Allah. The thing that causes you to sleep doesn't even come over Allah. You see? Now, we can say the same thing about this wall. Right? Am I right or wrong? لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. هذا الجدار لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. This wall, no sleep, no slumber overtakes it not. Is that showing sublimity of the wall? Does it show perfection in the wall? Are you praising the wall? But with Allah you are. You see? The same principle. So there's some names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of them have attributes inside of them. Some of them, they show deficiency. And some of them, they show perfection. When it's talking about Allah, it's always perfect. But when it's talking about the created things, it shows imperfection. Even though the word that Allah calls himself has, from one viewpoint, it can show perfection, another viewpoint, it shows imperfection. When you talk about Allah, it's always perfect. Example. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the surah called, let me see, what is the number of this surah? Anfal. What is this? Chapter number 8. Number 8. Surah Anfal. Al-Anfal. I think it's Surah 8. Surah Anfal. The verse is verse 30. I think that's it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, the 8th chapter. The 8th chapter, the 30th verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُونَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. They plot and Allah plot. And Allah is the best of plotters. The word makr that's used in the verse. The word makr. Makr means to plot. Inside this word that Allah calls himself, this attribute, from one point of view, plotting is a good thing. To plan is a good thing. But from another point of view, plotting can be a bad thing. Am I right or wrong? Is this right? But Allah calls himself this. Another example. Allah says in the surah called Tawheed, He says in the 86th chapter of the Qur'an, the 86th chapter of the Qur'an, the last two verses, 15 through 17. 15 through 17. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّهُمْ يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. Right? Actually it's 16. 15 and 16 verses. 15 and 16 verses. Allah says, إِنَّهُمْ يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. Surely they plot a plot against you. And Allah says, I plot a plot against them. Alright? And this word is kaid. Right? And then you have another word, khida, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the 4th surah of the Qur'an, the 142nd verse. Allah says, chapter 4, verse 142. He says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُمْ. Surely the hypocrites, they try to deceive Allah. This is khidah. That's what it's called in Arabic. Khidab. K-H-I-D-A-A. Says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهِ وَهُوَ خَادِعُهُم. But Allah deceives them. Allah tricks them. That's what it means. Allah beguiles them. Allah dupes them. The word dupe or trick in one sense can be a good thing. But in another, if you look at another aspect, it can also be a bad thing. So now how do we understand Allah calling himself these things?
Chapter 42, verse 11.
That's one way. There's nothing like him. However, he's deceitful. It's not like anything else, right? But now let me ask you a question. This is an examination. Anybody who gets this right, you just get it right. I don't have anything. I don't have no prizes or anything, so don't expect no prize. Can we call now, according to what we learned so far? Can we say Allah? This is what I'm saying. This is very carefully, brothers and sisters. Can we say that Allah is the planner? Just say Allah is the deceiver. Can we say that? Allah is the tricker. Allah is the tricker. Is it safe to say that? Yes. But no, listen to what I'm saying. Based on all the principles and things we just learned already over the past 2 weeks. Alright? Can we safely say that Allah is al-Makir, the plotter? He's al-Khadi', he's the deceiver, the tricker. Can you call him that?
No.
We said that it's all over. That's not a trick. That's not a trick, they said. Okay, so if it said to you, is Allah described by trickery and deception and plotting? You can't say yes and you can't say no. You know what the key is? When you read verses like this and you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calling himself by name that have these type of attributes in them, what you have to do is you have to look at how it's being used in the Qur'an. You'll never, ever, ever, how many ever is that? 3? Ever. Allah is odd, he says, and he likes odd, so I'll use 5. You'll never, ever see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call himself by a name that can suggest deficiency or defect or something criminal in it by itself. You'll never see this in the Qur'an. You'll never see this. You'll always see him using this name in a combative type of way. He's warring with someone who's trying to do that thing. Look, anywhere in the Qur'an. They try to deceive Allah, so Allah deceives them. Right? So the way we would answer this, no, we can't call Allah this, and we can't say yes, we can call Allah this. The answer is that we have to call Allah these things only when they're used like this. Only when he's using these names or these attributes to combat someone in this thing. I don't know, is this clear? It's not clear? You understand what I'm saying? It's a combative type of thing. You'll never see Allah in the Quran say, he created the heavens and the earth, and he made the night merges to the day, and surely Allah is a deceiver. You follow what I'm saying? You'll always see Allah calling himself this when somebody in his creation that he created is trying to do that. Then he shows how good he is at doing it, and he's the best at doing that. But when he's not doing that, you can't call Allah that because that's not him all the time. He's only like that when somebody stupid tries to be like that too. That's what it means. That's the answer.
So that's the same as retaliate?
It's a retaliatory type attribute. And you can't say Allah is that. Allah is a tricker. You can't call Allah a tricker. But yes, you can call Allah a tricker if somebody's trying to be tricky. Because now he comes back. You see? Anything that shows any type of defect or deficiency or something evil in it, Allah says, فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. In their heart is a disease. Now Allah don't want people to be sick. But if they take it upon themselves to deviate from Sirat al-Mustaqim, from the straight way, and let kufr or shirk or bid'ah or anything come into their heart, Allah now is the increaser of disease. That's an attribute. So He takes upon Himself, you want to be like that? You stupid. I'm going to increase it. You see? So, but you can't call on Allah and say, oh, increaser of disease. No, because Allah is the healer. But anyone who gets stupid with Allah, I keep using the word stupid because I don't really want to say what I really want to say. I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to say what I really want to say. But anyone who has this warring type attribute against Allah and the messenger and those who believe, then Allah says, the hypocrites, they try to deceive Allah. Okay, you try to deceive Allah, so Allah deceives them. But Allah is not the deceiver. He's only the deceiver for those who are justified in being deceived. That's why the Prophet in every single khutbah on Friday, he's actually saying, "Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh." He would say, ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له. Whoever Allah guides, no one can lead them astray. ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. And whoever He causes to go astray, and that's not an attribute of Allah, the one who causes you to go astray, because Allah wants you to be guided. But why is Allah saying whoever He causes to go astray, they're doing guidance? It's because somebody is so stupid that they want to be going astray. They want to go astray. So when they want to go astray, He makes it even go further. See? It's a responsive type attribute. But you can't call Allah the one who makes people go astray. You can only call Him that when they themselves have this disease in their heart and they want to go astray. And that's our proof. That's one of our proofs that if someone wants to be guided, Allah will guide them. If they don't want to be guided, there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Because Allah now uses the other conditional attribute. When they don't want to be guided, He helps them not be guided and sends them further away. That's what we mean by this. And this is serious. It's from a lot of different aspects, it's very serious. Number one, it teaches us how to look at these verses in the Qur'an. And when you look at these verses of Qur'an, you'll always notice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He ends the verse with a name of Himself, just go back to the inside structure of the verse. Like you'll see He says, وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْكَبِيرُ, and He is the high, the great. If you go back to the verse, I guarantee you the verse has something to do with Tawheed or shirk. I guarantee you. It has something to do with shirk. Because Allah attaches at the end of verses, when He uses His name, He attaches an appropriate name that has to do with what He mentioned inside the verse. Just look through the Qur'an. When you go home, just check it out. When you see Him saying, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim at the end of the verse, it's something He sent down some rain, or He's making the flowers grow. When you look at the verses that talk about people being stupid, right, for instance, He'll say, He's Dhul Intiqam. He's the inflictor of retribution. The verse will always give you an indication on why He's giving the name. He's using that name at the end. And then you see some verses where He uses 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 names at the end of the verse. Right? And then at the end, when He talks about how people commit shirk, He'll say, وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ عَمَّا يُشْرِكُونَ. Glory be to Allah from the things that they ascribe to Him. Right? But these are things, inshallah, for instance, here's one right in front of you. Allah says, مَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ إِن شَكَرْتُمْ وَآمَنْتُمْ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ شَاكِرًا عَلِيمًا. What concern has Allah for your punishment if you are thankful for His mercies and believe in Him? Allah was ever the thankful, the knower. The thankful, the knower. But inside the verse, Allah says, what concern does Allah have for your punishment if you are thankful? You see? He's mentioning an attribute that human beings are supposed to have. Then He explains what He is at the end of the verse by saying, He's the most thankful. You see? And He's the knower. The knower of what? The knower that you're either thankful or you're not. You see? And Allah uses in this interesting, Allah uses in this verse, He says, In shakartum wa amantum. that you are thankful and you believe, because the linguistic meaning of disbelief means not being thankful. The linguistic meaning, not the religious meaning, the linguistic meaning of kafir. The linguistic meaning of kufr means to be ungrateful, to not be thankful. And the religious meaning means that you are not thankful to the one who created you. That makes you a disbeliever, because you deny that he's the one to be worshipped. You're not thankful to the one who should be worshipped. So these names, brothers and sisters, is what time? 4:02? 5. Okay. These names, when we see these names like this, the deceiver, the punisher, these names. Oh, I'm glad I mentioned that. Along with this, there are other names in the Qur'an and in Hadith. And then if you look at the 99 names, if you have a list of those names, the 99 names, I don't see it around. Yeah, right here. You'll notice that some of these names are, they have, if you notice in the Quran, you'll see that, and to some dua, the Prophet used to say, that you can't use the names separately. This is a different category. This is always combative or responsive. But there's other names of Allah that you'll see him using another name, they're always back to back. You see? You can't, it's illegal Islamically to separate those names. Alright? For instance, Allah calls himself the giver. Now there's another attribute called Al-Wahhab. Another name called Al-Wahhab. But then there's some other names that Allah calls himself, and they're like dual attributes, dual names or dual attributes. Alright? They're dual attributes. You can't use one without the other. Let me see if I can get an example. One is, to give you an example. No, that's different. One. No, let me see. One is, here we go. Al-Mani' and Al-Baru. Alright? Al-Mani' means Al-Baru and Al-Mani'u wal-Baru. Al-Mani'u, Al-Mughni and Al-Mani'. Al-Baru and Al-Nafi'. One means the preventer, and the other one means the harmer. So you can't use the preventer by itself. You have to use this one with this one. The giver and the restrictor. You can't say Allah is the restrictor without calling him the giver along with the restrictor. So you have to say he's the giver and the restrictor. Right? He's the giver and the preventer. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't use one by itself. Yeah? There's some you can use by themselves. There's some like these that you have to use when they're in response to something that the creation is trying to do, and there are others that you can't use them separately. There are two that go with each other. Like when we come from Ruku', it's Sami Allahu Hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd. And there's a dua that the Prophet used to make. Mil as-samawati wa mil al-ard wa mil ma baynahuma la shukra min shukna shay'in ba'd. La yanfa'u dhal jadd minka al-jadd wa la na'budu illa iyyah. Lahu al-ni'matu wa lahu al-fadl wa lahu al-thana'u al-hasan. لا إله إلا الله مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي ولا منع. اللهم لا مانع لما أعطيت ولا معطي لما منع. Whoever, when Allah gives, no one can take it away. And whatever Allah takes away, no one can give. You have to use both of those together. Because if you use it by itself, Allah is the harmer, at-Tawheed. Then this suggests to a person's mind something evil. Allah is the harmer. You see? It should always be used in apposition, not opposition, in apposition to the other name. And this is something that's really, really important to understand, inshallah. So I think it's 8 o'clock now, right? If there's nothing else, inshallah, we're going to end it here? Or we're going to go on? 6 to 8, right? 6 to 8.
We was late, so we need about 15, 20 minutes more.
Are we going to stop here? Or it's better to stop here? Okay. Okay. That means that suggests that we should try to be early. All right. No questions? No questions about this? No rebuttals? No comments?
Yeah. I'm supposed to straighten out that principle number 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah. For principle number 1, it has no branches. Principle number 1 has no branches.
Okay.
Yeah, it's obligatory to stick with the text. Principle number 2 concerning names of Allah is number 1, Allah's names, all of our names are beautiful and perfect. That's the first branch, or first point. The second is that Allah's names are not restricted to a specific number.
So that'd be everything you gave us that you say was
Right. Those are number 2.
Okay.
Right. Third, you can't use rational thinking. And the fourth is that each of Allah's names indicate His essence or His being, and an attribute which is comprised of something that is either transitive or intransitive. It affects the creation. Some do and some don't. And the third principle was that the attributes of Allah, all the attributes of Allah are sublime, perfect, and they praise Him. There's no deficiency in any kind of way, pertaining to Allah. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it?
So that's principle number 3?
Is that it? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. You know what I asked, right? Where do we leave off?
Principle 3. All the attributes of Allah are sublime, perfect, praising, no imperfections.
All the attributes of Allah?
Spoke about the responsive, combative attributes.
Right. Anybody give me an example of that? Anyone who was here? Give me an example of an attribute of Allah, an attribute that Allah attributes to Himself, but we cannot call Him that just unrestrictedly. Even though He calls Himself that, we can't call Him that unrestrictedly without some conditions. Can anybody give me an example?
Arrogance?
No, He's always arrogant. So Allah is always arrogant. But with that attribute in you is bad, but in Him is good. But He's always arrogant. For Him, that's a good thing. For you, that's a bad thing. Khida. Yeah. This attribute, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ الْمُنَافِقِينَ يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَهُوَ خَاعِدُهُم, that surely the munafiqun, the hypocrites, they try to deceive Allah, they try to trick Allah, and Allah tricks them. We cannot call Allah the deceiver or the tricker. Even though He attributes this attribute to Himself, we can't call Allah the tricker without some conditions. What we do say is that at the time that person or those individuals are trying to deceive and trick Allah and the Messenger and those who believe, that's when He uses the same attribute as a retaliatory or combative attribute against the people who are trying to do it. But at the time that they're not doing it, He's not that. You just can't stand up in dua and say, oh Allah, oh deceiver. You can't call Allah that. Only when they're trying to do it to Allah and the Messenger and those who believe, that's when He does it. When it ends, He's no longer that. Is that kind of clear? That clear? You weren't here, but is that clear?
No, I wasn't here.
But is it clear? Okay. And there's some other attributes, for sister who wasn't here, there's some other attributes like this. Allah calls Himself the plotter, the plant, the deceiver, the tricker, the beguiler. So these attributes are attributes that, for lack of better words, they're just conditional attributes. He's never that unrestrictedly. He's never that. In fact, in Arabic, what we call it, we say, you see this word a lot in Arabic, mutlaqan. For those who are studying Arabic, it's spelled like this. Mutlaqan. This is the line. Mutlaqan. What this means is, mutlaqan means this terminology is used in Tafsir, Qur'an, Fiqh, Hadith. It's used all through Islamic sciences. All the Islamic sciences, this terminology is used mutlaqan or mutlaq, right? Unrestrictedly. What it means is that, what's a simple way to say it? Unrestrictedly. Unbounded. It means that it has no limitations. In other words, you can't call Allah these names, these attributes that He calls Himself, without some restrictive condition. That's what it means. You can't say Allah is a deceiver mutlaqan, unrestrictedly. There's some conditions to call Him that. That's what it means. Unconditionally, you can use that too. Unconditionally is it's not as close to the meaning of this. So that's what that means. But the other thing that you mentioned, Hakeem, about Allah being arrogant, mutakabbir, that's the name, mutakabbir. This name, He's always this. He's always this. Alright? But the difference is that when you call Allah arrogant, this is showing His sublimity, it's showing perfection in Him, and it's praising Him. But if you say that you're arrogant, and Allah forbid, I'm going to point at you, the person sitting right there. If the person sitting right there, in this space right here, is arrogant, then for him, it's a lowly, imperfect, blameworthy attribute. See, but with Allah, it's the opposite. Right? So there's a difference. Any questions for anything that we went through last week that you that maybe came to your mind when you left and we can entertain before we begin? None? No one? I really, subhanAllah, and not specifically for this these classes are going to end. I mean, anybody that knows me well knows I like to do this kind of stuff. I could do this all day, every day, I really feel bad that we don't have things like this continuously, because there's a lot of information, a whole lot of information. I mean, we could do this for years, and literally for years. And I just pray to Allah that Muslims is going to pick it back up later on. Yeah, either it's up to the administration here, the message. Either we can continue if we don't get a good response. For starting another one from the beginning, maybe we can talk to the Imam about taking this to the next semester. People will graduate, so to speak, from this section, this semester, if you want to call it, and then graduate going with some more advanced. That's what they normally do. Yeah, so I would, as long as they want to use me, I'm ready. Okay. The next thing is Allah's attributes. This is the next branch to the principle we mean all of the attributes in the Qur'an. And in the Sunnah Sahihah, the authentic Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Allah or His Messenger, in the Qur'an and in the Sunnah, Hadith, says that He is. In other words, they are affirming that He is that. And for those who were absent, we mentioned that those 99 so-called attributes are not 99 attributes, they're 99 names. We're talking about attributes. The attributes of Allah, and of course every name has an attribute in it, so everything that Allah says simply means everything that Allah and the Prophet says that Allah is. Not only does this fall into the category of affirmation, we have to affirm what Allah and His Prophet has affirmed about Allah. It's wajib, if you follow the Hanafi school. It's obligatory. It's wajib. It's obligatory. Absolutely imperative. Whatever Allah says He is, we have to believe that He is. Alright? Without takyif, without tahrif,
without tamthil and without ta'til. And we gave these definitions before. And once again, for those who are not here, who weren't here before, inshallah, they can review the tapes or review the notes and the tapes for people who are here. All right. So, for instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has affirmed in the Qur'an that He has life. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has life. He also has affirmed in the Qur'an, and also the Prophet has affirmed, alayhi salam, that Allah has power. For instance, Allah says in the Qur'an, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no deity worthy of worship, there is no ilah worthy of worship except Him, and He is al-hayyu, and He is al-qayyum. He is the ever-living, which means He has to have life. So we know automatically that Allah is not dead, because He says He's alive. All right? And even though from the branch of the principle we just learned just last week, that even though He does have life, with us, life indicates death. But with Allah, life indicates eternal, the eternal nature of life. All right? So we have to remember that. So Allah says that He is al-hayy. He is al-hayy, the living. All right? And of course His life is not like our life. Even though we have life, birds have life, roaches have life, everything has life, the trees, etc. Allah's life is not like our life. And no life can be compared to His life. Not denying that we don't have life, and not denying that Allah doesn't have life. The point is that Allah says He has life. So that attribute, that He has life, that He has power, that He has knowledge, etc., is there of the attributes called thubutiyya. Sifatu thubutiyya, attributes of affirmation. But then, as the brother eloquently mentioned, that Allah reward him in all of us. I mean, he mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has attributes of negation, and He gave a perfect example. And you can look in, what is the number of Surah Al-Kahf? 17, 18. Surah Al-Kahf, verse 49. At the very end of that chapter, at the very end of that ayah, that verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَوُضِعَ الْكِتَابُ فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُشْفِقِينَ مِمَّا فِيهِ وَيَقُولُونَ يَا لَيْتَنَا مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. And the book is placed, and you see the guilty fearful of that which is therein. And they'll say, what kind of book is this that leaves not a small thing nor a great thing but has counted it? And we know that the book here means what? Perfect. No. You know what the book means here? Listen again.
Your good and bad.
The book of your deeds. Right. It says, what kind of book is this that leaves not a small thing or a great thing but has counted it? And they'll find all they did confirming. By the way, on and you would have got it. And they found all that they did confirming it. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. Your Lord to anyone or anything is never unjust. Never. So that means the difference between the thubutiyya and the salbiyya, that's salbiyya, because Allah is negating the fact that He's unjust. The difference between, one of the main differences between the attributes that are thubuti and the attributes that are salbi is that with the thubutiyya ones, we have to believe that He's there. With the salbiyya ones, has two aspects. Number one, we have to believe that He's not that, because He said He's not, and the Prophet said He's not. And number two, we have to reverse the fact that if He's not that, He's the opposite of that. See, that's mandatory in this belief. See, the first one, we don't do that. In other words, if Allah says He is something, we don't switch it around and says he's not, with that type of attribute. But with the negative ones, with the ones of the attributes of denial, when he says he's not that, automatically we have to believe that he is the opposite of that, and he's not that. So this means that if a person, her mother, has been trying to have, her husband has been trying to have children, and she gets pregnant, she loses the baby. She gets pregnant again next year, she loses the baby. She gets pregnant again the next year, she loses the baby. She gets pregnant again the next year, she loses the baby. Then finally Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives her a child, beautiful baby. And they ride down the street in the car, going to the masjid and have an accident, the baby dies. And she screams out, this is not fair. This is unjust. Why you do this to me, Allah? This is unjust. This is, of course, this is an emotional state, but this is a violation of the belief of these attributes. Because Allah is never unjust. What He does is always good. Relative to the human beings is bad to us, or it's evil, or it's haram, or it's sinful. But relative to Allah, in His infinite wisdom, why He does this, there's no tyranny, there's no unfairness, there's no chauvinism. You brothers can have more than one wife. It's not fair. That's unjust. No, it's just. وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. Allah is never unjust. See? So this is an example of what the brother just mentioned. Another example is in chapter 2, verse 255. Right? Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the same verse that we mentioned, there is no deity worthy of worship except Him. He is alive, the ever eternal, the self-subsisting, Then he says, لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ وَلَا نَوْمٌ. Ayatul Kursi. لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ وَلَا نَوْمٌ. I think we mentioned this before, right? About this part of the verse? No? Allah in this verse, He says, sleep nor slumber overtakes Him not. In actuality, it's the reverse. It says, slumber or sleep overtakes Him not. لَا تَأْخُذُهُ سِنَةٌ. Allah uses the word sina, and He uses the word known. We know this word, and we've heard. I know we've heard it before, even though we may not know what it means. But the mu'adhin in Fajr prayer, he says, "As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm." Prayer is better than sleep. This means sleep, right? But sina comes from the word. It doesn't come from the word. It means nu'ad. Nu'ad. It means like to doze off like this. To become fatigued and, you do this. Like you doze it off.
Nod.
Like nodding out, even if you don't nod, just to, be overcome. It's like the prelude to this. It's the beginning stages of this. Like dozing off, right? Now you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is infinitely wise. Right? Now, you sure we didn't talk about this? We didn't talk about this? Huh? We were talking about the 5%? Remember I mentioned about the 5%?
Oh yeah. Who
try to say that, they don't go to sleep? They say they rest. Right? I'm not sleeping, I'm resting. Right, okay. So Allah answers them before Clarence even started that group. Allah answered them 14 or 13 years ago by saying not only the sleep not overtake him, but the thing that is the introduction to sleep doesn't overtake him either. You see, did we get the example of Musa? What Allah told Musa to do? When He explained this verse to Musa, this legacy Exodus to Musa. There's a hadith in the collection of I believe it's either in a Darimi or it's in a Tabarani, one of those, either a Darimi or Tabarani, authentic hadith, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was explaining to Musa alayhi salam this particular attribute of Salviyya, that he doesn't sleep and that slumber doesn't overtake him, or dozing off doesn't overtake him, right? Doesn't never overpower him. He said, Moses, stand up. with 2 jars, right? And of course, Musa going to follow the commandment of Allah. So he took 2 jars and placed them in your hand. So he stood up, right? Just a stand. And Musa stood, and then the first part of the night, midnight came, Musa strong. And then the second part of the night came, and he started dozing up, right? And then the third part, he couldn't handle it anymore, and he dropped the jars when they broke, when they fell on the ground. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa, said, if this were me, all of you would be destroyed, because I have the heavens and the earth in my hand. Right? See, so this thing about Allah creating the heavens and earth in 6 days and resting and all these things, these are negative attributes. Allah denies that He had these things. And if you go through the Qur'an, you'll see there are quite a few attributes. Now that you're aware of it, you'll go through the Qur'an and you'll see what Allah says, He isn't this, He isn't that, I am not this. Sometimes He says it in the first person, I am not this, and I am not that. And He'll put it sometimes in the second person where Allah will have the prophet say, and oh our Lord, you are not this, or you don't do this. Well, Allah says, for instance, ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. Says, our Lord, ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه, you're going to collect the people. That on a day there will be no doubt. No doubt you will collect and gather all the human beings. Right? إِنَّكَ لَا تُخْلِفُ مِيعَادٍ, and you never break your promise. See? So this is the attribute Salviyah. So that means Allah always keeps His promise. So that also means that if you do exactly what Allah says to do in the Qur'an, an authentic sunnah of the Prophet, you go to Jannah. Because He doesn't break His promise. If you don't do that, because He doesn't break His promise, you won't go to Jannah.
Excuse me, I have to ask you something.
Yes.
Why does, in the Quran, some things say we? What's that mean?
We're going to come to this, inshallah. But if you want the answer now, you want the answer right now?
I can wait.
Okay. Well, I can't wait. What we means, like in Arabic language, also in like some other Semitic languages, for lack of better words, like Middle Eastern languages. In fact, we even have it in English now. You'll notice that there are 2 types of plural. All right? You have the plural of numbers, and you have the plural that's used for a term of respect and honor to show the greatness of something. All right? So if you say we have gone fishing, it means something plural. But if you say if you say we, as Allah says, and surely we created human beings. Right? Here we already know Allah is Ahad. It doesn't, because we have to go to other verses in the Qur'an. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. So just based on that alone, and because our principles tell us to stick to the text, we know that we have to mean something else. So it can't mean more than one. Right? Here, when it shows the greatness of Allah. It shows the greatness of Allah. And it's just a figure, it's a terminology that's used in almost all Semitic languages. And we created the human being. Not that Allah had help. Allah doesn't need help. But this is called the we of royalty. That's what it's called. The we of honor and respect. You'll see the President of the United States standing in front of the people, giving the state address. And he'll say, we, the President of the United States of America. You see this a lot. The man will give a khutbah. What we will talk about today is, right? There's only one person standing in front of him. We, the Queen of England, say today, right? There's only one woman. So that we is just a literary expression to show the greatness of the office of that individual. It's called the we of royalty, or the we of honor and respect. But it's not the we of numbers. So there's other places in the Quran, but the one once again that the brother gave is a very good example. And then you can look for yourself. When you go through the Qur'an now, when you go through the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you'll see these attributes being used. Right. Any questions about this before we go to the next part? Nothing? Okay. Now, out of the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the mighty and sublime, out of the attributes that Allah has that are Thubutiyyah, these are divided into two types themselves. Alright? 1 and 2. The ones that are Zatiyah and Fi'liyah. You have those that are Zatiyah, which deal with the being or the essence of Allah, the being or the essence, or Allah Himself, the self of Allah. And then the Fi'liyah are the attributes of action. If we can call them the functional attributes. Or the operative attributes. Alright? Remember now, Zatiyah and Fi'liyah are both the divisions of Thubutiyyah. That means they're affirmative. You follow me? That means they're affirmative, and that's Tawheed, and not attributes that he's negating himself. These are attributes that he says he has. Alright? Now, the first one, the attributes that are Thubutiyyah, Zatiyah, they are the affirmative attributes. Allah or the Prophet ﷺ has affirmed them, and they are dealing with his being, or his essence, or himself. Alright? Anyone have an idea what this means? The attributes that deal with it, there's a word that comes to my mind, but maybe I could use it, but I don't want to get real philosophical, you know. But we could call that here the attributes that are metaphysical, the metaphysical attributes of Allah. But I don't know. I guess I won't get in trouble if I use it. But actually, the being of Allah, and actually the actual person of Allah. That's what it means. The personage of Allah. You see? And when you say person, people say, oh, you can't do that because Allah. Yeah, but in a spiritual sense, yes, he is. He has a personage. That's what we mean. He has a being. Okay? What this means, when the first one, that is, this means all of the attributes that Allah always was characterized by, and always will be characterized by. I repeat, these are the Zatiyah, these are the ones that Allah has always been characterized by. Always. Whether there was anybody around to characterize him by them or not. And always will be characterized by them. Okay? He's looking at me, right? You with me? Alright? And we'll explain it, of course, inshallah. The Fi'liyah attributes, they're the ones that are associated with Allah's will. These are the ones that are associated, they're connected with Allah's will. Alright? In other words, if He wants to do it, He'll do it. If He doesn't want to do it, He won't do it.
Inshallah.
Huh?
That's the purpose of saying inshallah.
That's not the purpose of saying inshallah, but that statement is connected to the attributes of Fi'liyah. That statement is. Alright? Now, I know it it may be a little vague in some of your minds, but can anyone give me an example of an example for the first type, Zakiya, something that deals with the actual self? Now, Dawud, Adib himself is sitting in front of you. Alright? You are sitting in front of me. The that of you, this part right here. That. The self or the being of you and you are sitting in front of me right now. I see your that. That's the actual being of you sitting in front of me right now. Alright? If you were outside of this building right now, your that is not here. Your that will be outside the building. If you were in Chicago, or you were in Miami, or in Mecca, or Medina, or someplace like this, I can't say that the that of Abdul Latif is here. I can't say the that of Sister Khadija is here. Because the that is the person themselves. Presence can be used loosely, but it can be used, but it can't be used technically here, because people say, my grandmother's dead and I feel her presence. See? But your grandmother's in that ground. After she died, she's put in the ground. Her that is not here. See? So when you say the that, you mean the actual person themselves. The ruh that's inside the human being is not the that of the human being. The ruh, the soul, is inside the that. So what we see is the that. That's what I mean. Alright? This book is here, bidatihi. That's what you say in Arabic. The book is in my hand right now, bidatihi. Now the book is not in my hand, bidatihi. I'm saying this Qur'an is this. Now I'm saying the book is here figuratively. Right? It's not actually here in my hand. I would say, like some point to you, I'm saying, this Qur'an right here, brothers and sisters, I'm referring to this over here. But this is the actual vast of the book. The essence is right here. The being, the self of this book is right here. Or this chalk. Or a person, or an animal, etc. So Allah has a that. He has a being. He has a self. Alright? Essentially, he has a being. That is over the heavens and the earth. Allah, He Himself, the being, the that of Allah is over His throne, which is over the heavens and the earth. Alright? So now, if we want to give an example of attributes that are Zatiyya, Allah meaning things that He was characterized by, always will be characterized by. Give me an example. Anyone. Something that is essentially of Him. Being the Creator. That is a Zati attribute. Because He always was the Creator, and He always will be the Creator. Before there was anything to create, that attribute is Zati. But it's also fi'li. That attribute is both together. I want one by itself. Because Allah always was characterized by the Creator, and He always will be characterized by the Creator, even if there was nothing to create. And at the same time, it's an operative, actional, functional attribute, because it's something that He does. But what I want now is an attribute that is totally, exclusively of the Zatiyya type.
Eternal. He
always was eternal, and He always will be eternal. And can we say that that's functional? You're right. No, that's not technically functional. But give us one that's, really clear. Really, we don't have to think. Did anyone think of one? He always was described as having that thing or being that. That's one. But the master also means owner.
Home.
That's one. Yes, His holiness, He's always been described as being holy, and He always will be, and that's not a functional, that's right. But there's others. His hearing. The fact that He always heard and He always will hear. Alright? But that's also fair eating. It's operable. But His hand. Allah has always been described as having hands. And He always will be described as having hands. But that's not an operative attribute. That's His hands as part of Himself. That's not an action thing. His eyes are not an action, operative, functional attribute. Allah has always been described as having eyes and always will be described as having eyes, and He doesn't need His eyes to see. See, that's the difference. We need ours to see. Allah doesn't need His to see. Why? Verse 40. What's the reason why He doesn't need His eyes to see? Huh? No. What's the reason? Real simple. Listen to the word I use. Just listen to my statement. Allah doesn't need eyes to see.
He's self-sufficient.
He doesn't need anything. If you say He needs eyes to see, you're saying that He has necessities. He's dependent on something. Allah is not dependent on His eyes to see. You see? You see? With your eyes or without your eyes. Right? Okay. His feet. Allah mentions and the Prophet mentions that Allah has feet. That He's been characterized as having feet. Before there was anything created, Allah had those feet. And He always will have those feet. They're not going to go anywhere. Right? So that attribute, those are attributes that are attributed to Allah and is characterized by them from before there was a time till there won't be any time. Alright? But the fi'liya attributes are attributes that are connected to Allah's will. If He wants to do it, He'll do it, and if He doesn't want to do it, He won't do it. Some of them are both together and some of them are not. Now I want an example now of an attribute that is fi'liya, totally fi'liya, mutlaqan. No, not mutlaqan, muqayyidan, restricted. I want one now that it's not a fi'liya, it's not a dhatiya attribute. I want an attribute of Allah that's a purely functional, operative, action attribute. And He wasn't always characterized by that attribute. And He won't always be characterized by that attribute. And He does it when He wants, or He doesn't do it if He doesn't want. No, because that you can't, yeah, that could be one, but we want one different from that one. Anybody? Tell me some of the things that Allah does, that He does. He doesn't do all the time. That's what this means. He does it, and then sometimes He's not doing it. He does it when He wills, and then when He doesn't will, He doesn't do it. And He hasn't always done it. And He won't always do it. There will come a time when He won't do it, and there was a time when He didn't do it. Why did you were going to say that? How you doing? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm learning from them. Believe it or not. I'm learning from them. I'm learning from them. Believe me, brother. Wallahi, I tell people all the time, I'm doing this for selfish reasons. Really, because I'm the one that benefits. The more you teach, the more you learn, brother. Believe me. Because I'm thinking of stuff that I didn't say in the class before. Some things I've done, some things I'm saying now, it's just coming to my head to say now, that I didn't say in other places. Just from the Bible. Allah ascending His throne. Allah says, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa. Allah, the beneficent one, ascended over and rose above and he ascends his throne. This is purely fiqhiyya. It's nothing to do with zatiyya. Alright? Why is Allah ascending over the throne? Purely fiqhiyya. Remember what the meaning of fiqhiyya is. The attributes that are connected or associated to his will. If he wants to do it, he'll do it. If he doesn't want to do it, he won't do it. He wasn't always described or characterized as doing it, and he won't always will be. This is something that he does when he wants, or he doesn't do it if he doesn't want, but he always didn't do it. Why? Allah coming his descension, Allah descending his throne is the third part of every night. Why isn't this attribute like the Zatiyya attributes? Always was and always will be. Why? Allah ascending the throne and he said, think. I'll say it again. Put on your thinking kufis and your thinking khimars. Tell me why. He just does that certain times. That's not the reason though.
Because he comes down to check on his believers, see what they want, and answer the prayer.
No. No.
Because he's not going to
Listen to why?
He won't have a reason to.
Come on, why? Keep going.
He won't have a reason to come down.
Why though? Why? And the same answer that you about to give, inshallah, for Allah, Allah increase you with knowledge and memory. And the same answer you get ready to give, if you just take it back to why he never did this, before there was, I'm trying not to give you the answer. What's the reason? She's like, here's the answer right here, and she's right there. You hit it right on the head when you say the dead resurrection. But you real close. Can anybody grasp what she's getting close to?
Yeah, she lost me a little bit, but she was coming out of the blood.
What's the reason?
It wouldn't be necessary for him to come down after he took the loss.
No, listen, I'm gonna say it one more time. I'm gonna say, huh? No, he doesn't come down to forgive. Don't say that. And also, don't say that Allah comes down to check. Because Allah doesn't have to come down to check. Alright? Allah doesn't have to come down to forgive because Allah is over his throne. He can give us as he pleases, how he pleases, and he doesn't have to move his position to forgive his creatures. Alright? Don't say that. Listen, I'm going to give you the answer right now, without saying the answer. Allah, we all know that Allah created 7 heavens, right? Above the 7th heaven is water. Above the water are angels. Imam Bukhari said that water is not like our water too. He said, right? The angels are holding the throne of Allah. They're called Hamalatul Arsh. The angels that hold the throne, they carry the throne of Allah. Over that throne is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to glorify and exalt. Why can't Allah be described? Why can't Allah ascending the throne be of this type? The one that he always was characterized as and always will be. Why not? See, there's 2 ways you can get this answer. In my humble opinion, there may be 50 ways, but in my humble opinion, there's 2 ways you can get this answer. Either number 1, with using dalil naqli, using transmitted evidence from Qur'an and Sunnah, or using dalil aqli, using rational proof. If you knew this hadith, you can get this answer immediately. There's a hadith that would tell you the answer immediately. And that hadith it says, before there was anything, there was Allah. and there was nothing with them. That's the answer. Now, give me the answer.
After he created everything, the angels, after he created the angels, and his angels were like to carry out certain
You're getting away from it. What is the key subject I'm talking about? We're talking about Allah ascending his throne. What is the subject in this sentence?
Showing action?
No. What are we talking about? What is something I'm talking about that Allah is ascending?
mounting his throne.
He's ascending his throne. Okay. Has his throne always been there?
No.
Then how could he have always done it? How could he have always ascended the throne when the throne wasn't here? Only Allah was here. There was nothing here but Allah in its existence, right? In order for Allah to be characterized as always doing something and always will, the thing that he's always doing had to have been there too. You see? How can he have always been ascending his throne if there wasn't any throne? The throne is created. And what the sister was saying, she was getting real close. Allah is going to destroy everything, including the throne. Including the throne. Alright? Allah is going to destroy the heavens and the earth, the dunya, everything. So now if it's going to be destroyed, how is he going to ascend it? Isn't the throne a part of creation? So that means his dissension also is something that he always wasn't characterized as doing, and he always won't be characterized as doing. This is fi'liyya. It's associated with his will, something that if he wants to do, he'll do it, and something that if he doesn't want to do, he won't do. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Fajr. Right? He says, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. And your Lord will come with the angels, rank upon rank. Your Lord will come. Is this ذاتية or فعلية? No. ذاتية or فعلية? How is it ذاتية? Allah's coming.
He's coming.
That's part of his essence. He's coming?
But in order to come, he has to be there.
Yeah, but is that part of his operational attributes? And it's not ذاتية. It's not ذاتية. It's fi'liyya. It's something that Allah hasn't always been characterized as coming. And he always won't be characterized as coming. No, this coming means this rain. Rain. He comes when he wants to, and if he doesn't want to come, he's not going to come. Alright? But he hasn't always been characterized as coming. Right? I don't know if this is clear. It's not clear. Huh? Everybody put it. It's not clear?
Yeah.
Somebody. Who doesn't understand? Raise your hand, whoever doesn't understand. I mean, totally. You don't understand? Not so. Do you understand totally?
Not totally.
You don't either? You understand? You think you do? Alright, I'm going back to myself again. To my that. Right now, the that of Dawud is sitting in this chair. And I'm not trying to compare myself to Allah. Alright, let me stay clear right now. The that of Dawud, I'll try to be perfectly still, just make me my knowledge on this. The that of Allah, the that of Dawud, the being of Dawud, the essence of Dawud is sitting in this chair. Let's imagine that I'm not talking and my eyes are not moving. Alright? The that of Dawud is not action. There's nothing moving on me. Right? My arm is not moving, my eyes are not moving, etc. The that of me is just what you see. That's not an operational, functional attribute of me. That's me. But now, if I pick up this pen or this chalk, that's a functional attribute. I lifted the chalk. I lifted it because I wanted to. And if I didn't want to lift it, I won't. Can human beings be characterized, always have been, and always will be characterized as having a nose? We're talking about normal human beings that come out of their mother's womb, that are born with all the things that human beings are normally born with. Is an attribute of a human being, the nose of an attribute, is that Zatiyya or Fi'liyya? This will let me know if you know what I'm talking about. It's Zatiyya, it's not Fi'liyya. Your nose is not running around the street somewhere. You understand? Do you really understand what I'm saying now? All right? The lips are Zati attributes of human beings. Human beings have always been and always will be characterized by having lips, by having a heart, by having sexual organs, by having arms, by having hair, etc. But the attributes that are related to our actions are kindness, arrogance, cheerfulness, benevolence. If we want to do it, we'll do it. If we don't want to do it, we won't do it. You see? And even when we die, we're laying on the tables of our bodies to be washed, those attributes of Zatiyya are still with us, but the other ones are not. Where do the other ones go? They go back to Allah. That's a big question. See? The Fi'liyya attributes go back to Allah. What's the evidence?
The evidence?
The evidence. You're absolutely right. The evidence is the Prophet ﷺ said, it says, the three things follow the dead. Yatba'u mayyit salat. Three things follow the dead. His loved one's family, his money, his property, and his deeds. Two return, فَيَرْجُعُ اثْنَانِ وَيَبْقَى وَاحِدٌ, and one remains. All the things that are part of the essence of the human being, that stops at the grave. But the things of his action goes on. Now you see the difference between the that and the action? The person themselves and the actions of the person? The same or similar with Allah. Allah has the essential, personal, metaphysical attributes: his eyes, his face, his hand, his shank. Because Allah, the Prophet also says Allah has a shank. All right? His feet, his fingers. Those are with Allah. Allah's fingers don't come out and touch you on your head. They're not operative like that, you see. But he sees you, and he always will see you. He hears you, and he always will hear you. And he sees and hears everything, even when there's nothing to see or there's any sound. He always did this. He always has the attribute. That's what I'm saying. That he always has this attribute, and he always will. Now, sometimes you find attributes that are both. And you mentioned, some of you have mentioned some of them that are both together. One is speech. That is kalam. Allah has the attribute of the one who speaks. He always has that attribute. He always be characterized as one who speaks. He always will be characterized as one who speaks. And it is a functional attribute because speaking is functional. Is that clear now? Is it kind of clear now? Okay, how much time we have? Anybody? 5 to 7. Okay. Is that pretty clear? Okay, now let's go on. Huh? You okay? You know, and really, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, the average, and I'm not trying to boost this class up or anything, I'm boosting me up or,
like I'm a big shot, man. Because I'm not, I don't want to be arrogant. That's a lot of that, right? But really, the average Tawheed classes that I've seen conducted, they don't go this far. They just give you the basic, Allah is the God, and He's the only one to be worshipped, and He has beautiful names and attributes, and that's it. This stuff is really, really important. It's really, really important. Because this will help you, believe it or not. When you read the Qur'an, things will be much, much clearer. They'll become more clear. The next branch is that each, or in every attribute of Allah, can be addressed to three basic questions. Each and every attribute of Allah can be addressed by three basic questions. The first question is, are they real? Are they actual? Or not? Excuse me, and why? And why? Alright? What do I mean by they? Are they actual? Are they real? What do I mean by real? What am I talking about? Are the attributes real? And why? That's the first question. Are the attributes real? Are they actual? And why? That's the first question. In other words, if we're going to be talking to somebody about the attributes of Allah, these are three basic questions that can be addressed. That's what we mean. The second question is Tawheed. You have to go back to your notes now. Is Tawheed permissible? And why? Is Tawheed. We learned this word. T-A-K-Y-E-E-S. Is Tawheed permissible? Meaning the Tawheed of the attributes. Is it permissible? And why? That's the second question.